The Pokemon franchise has at least 2 different games for the same region, which are only slightly different to each other, but they do have version exclusive Pokemon, and Johto is one of those regions as well. I did the run in heartGold already, so let's do it in soulsilver as well. The team includes ledyba, vulpix, meowth, delibird, skarmory and teddiursa. Some are quite nice and others not so much. Also, the team composition makes me a bit worried for the high stakes battles. Here are the rules: I can only use soulsilver version exclusives in battle, but I need HM users to finish the Pokemon challenge. But let's begin. I use the Universal Pokemon Randomizer to change Cyndaquil to Teddiursa. This way I can play the whole game with only version exclusives and the rival gets Totodile, which is the most fitting starter Pokemon for him. I chose Teddiursa since it's so late into the game to catch one. At Cherry Grove City I received the boots to run as fast as Sonic. Received the Pokedex at Mr. Pokemon's house. I'm curious, do people have last names like this too? Mr. Animal? Mr. Human? Or something like that? The first rival battle is very easy, especially with the Teddiursa, and I was able to cheat. I can level up before battling him, very nasty. But finally I received the Pokeballs and am able to catch new Pokemon for my team. The first one is ledyba, and I want to be completely honest, this Pokemon is terrible. Easily one of the worst Pokemon. Or so I thought. Actually there's one strategy this little bug type is exceptionally good at. Before moving on to the first major battles of the run, I grabbed the HM for Rock Smash. I somehow forget it's available before beating Faulkner. At the top of Sprout Towers, Elder Lee, and this battle is a long grind. ledyba double resists grass type attacks, which is great, but the damage it pushes in return is just very low. But I win in the end, and that's all that matters. The escape rope is very important here. It allows me to open up the secret door at the Alph Ruins, which has an Oranberry just for me. A very strong held item for the first gym. Faulkner has a nasty team and can have various destructive moves aligned up. The flying type usually doesn't matter, but half my team looks quite bad against this type in particular. Anyway, versus Pidgey, and it already used Sand Attack, a move I really do not like. But thankfully I have 2 Pokemon, and when it went down, Pidgeotto appears. I switch into ledyba to reset the accuracy, while this bug type is getting destroyed by the big bird, which makes sense when I think about it. Teddiursa back in, and the idea is to have some defense drops with Rock Smash, but this try was very nice to me. The second Rock Smash hits critical in the same turn Roost was used to remove the flying type, and Pidgeotto is defeated. Faulkner is done, and it was way easier than expected, but of course the little critical hit helped saving a lot of time and tries. On the way to the next gym I find an Ekans. This is very interesting. In the wild it is a version exclusive to soulsilver, but in heartGold I could buy it at the game corner. To not confuse anyone, I just skipped this encounter and won't use it at all. Rock Smash not only helped against Faulkner, but also helps getting this item right in front of Union Cave, the Shell Bell. It's not as great as the leftovers, but I take it. Inside the Union Cave is the 1 TM, which makes the next gym leader a lot easier. TM Rock Tomb is very nice to use, but the hit rate is not that great. Arriving in Azalea Town and speaking to Kurt lets me explore the Slowpoke well. Here's Team Rocket, and their super weak Pokemon are no match for the soulsilver exclusives, beating them once again. At level 15, Teddiursa learns Feint Attack. Not sure right now, but I believe this is one of the best moves for it until the very end of the game. And here comes a true strategy for ledyba. It learns Slide Screen, Reflect and Safeguard at level 14, which are the best setup moves available. But let's see if it works out as I imagine it to. The gym leader Bugsy can be very hard to deal with, and if Rock Tomb wasn't lying around in Union Cave, this would actually be nearly impossible for several more levels. But thankfully, the remakes helped out a lot here. First is Scyther of course, and Leer doesn't seem too great at first while Rock Tomb hits very hard. So much so that Citrusberry pops up. I switch out anyway into ledyba, since U-turn would defeat Teddiursa on the spot and I'm not confident that it is faster. Metapod is really bad, and I can easily set up Reflect, switch back and defeat it whilst restoring all the HP back with Shell Bell. A critical hit scratch helps a bit of course. Scyther's here again, but focus energy is just not it. While Rock Tomb missed and Reflect stopped, that is horrible. But fortunately Quick Attack does only a bit of damage and Rock Tomb does hit to squash the flying bug finally. Last Kakuna, but nobody cares, and even though Poison Sting did poison of course, why wouldn't it? It still doesn't matter and Bugsy is out of Pokemon. This battle was very nice to fight, but what can I say, Rock Tomb is amazing. This was of course not the only major battle in this little town, there's also the rival. In this run I'm not too worried about him, because most of my team can handle him quite easily. Ghastly is quite bad against all the normal types in the game, and Teddiursa is no exception. Only Curse is quite bad for the little one. Against Croconaw I switch out into Ledyba to remove Curse, and while Scary Face won't matter, that bite did nearly KO, but fortunately I got Reflect up before Ledyba went down. Teddiursa back in, and of course Rock Smash didn't drop the defense, but the second one did. But I do have one question: why does Croconaw use 3 Scary Faces when there's an opponent here to beat it up real good? I don't get it. Eventually it did use Water Gun for some damage, but Teddiursa was able to overcome the challenge and beat Croconaw in the end. Blaze Zubat, but Supersonic was used and missed. This makes sense. Supersonic is terrible. The rival is defeated and the way to the next gym is basically open now, but of course a lot of stuff to do before that. I get the HM cut from the far-fetched puzzle in Ilex Forest, to then return to Azalea Town and grab the charcoal, which I need in just a bit. In the forest is also the move tutor for Headbutt, one of the best normal type attacks in the game, just for free. Arriving in Goldenrod City, I grabbed the bike to move faster around, even though I mostly never use it. And the radio package from the radio tower. This is actually needed to be able to battle Whitney, so I got no choice. At the national park are 2 relevant items, the Quick Claw and the TM for Dig. Both are great, but not sure if I will use them for any major battle. Just east of it is Route 36 and there's a small patch of grass where wild vulpix are roaming around. Not available in heartGold, I can use it here and hopefully get a lot of wins thanks to it. Also important to get it under level 14s or it won't have Ember anymore. Right in front of the grass is Alan, a trainer who can find Firestones lying around. While beating him, Vulpix learned a Will-O-Wisp, one of the very good moves. Why is Alan so important? If he calls and has a Firestone, I don't need to grind the points at Pokeathlon. And spoiler alert, I will need to grind points. Very sad actually. Back in Goldenrod City, at the department store on floor number 5, is a vendor who has a TM for Fire Blast. The strongest fire type attack already on Vulpix at this low level, amazing. While beating up the trainers around, Vulpix reaches level 17 and learns Confuse Ray, the better Supersonic. And also, this very same battle let Ledyba reach level 18, which is the level to get the evolution of Ledian. It's a bit stronger and will learn some good moves. Maybe, I'm actually not too sure. But I cannot delay it any longer and have to face a Whitney, the strongest gym leader in the entirety of the Pokemon franchise. She's maybe on the same level as Cynthia from Pokemon Platinum. Anyway, first is Clefairy against Teddiursa, and I got lucky to have it flinch thanks to Headbutt. Switching into Ledian now, which is part of the plan, but don't KO with Mag Punch, which is a good thing. This way, one Super Potion is already gone. 2 more Mag Punch and it is in range again, letting me use Reflect now. It's important to not have Ledian defeat Clefairy because of Miltank's rollout. I switch into Teddiursa and one Headbutt finishes Clefairy off. Now starts the most epic battle against Miltank. The idea is to use Rock Tomb and lower speed to then get destroyed by the power of Miltank, bringing in Vulpix to handle the rest. But Teddiursa stayed in, while Shelbel barely rescued the fight and one Rock Smash get it done, bringing my team over the finish line. Down to 1 HP, even one Storm Flinch would have been enough. Whitney is defeated, and while she is the most powerful trainer in the game, beating countless trainers on their journey to become real trainer, she lost to a new one, like me. That win was so great, the Flower Lady gave me the squirt bottle. I can use it to awaken the tree and it turned out to be a Pokemon, which is not version exclusive, so I flee and gain access to Aquatic City. Route 38 is just west of it and here are wild Meowth. This Pokemon is just great. I like it a lot and will play a huge part in basically all battles going forward. Before I can challenge the gym leader, I have to battle the rival at the Burning Tower first. He didn't improve by a lot from Azalea Town, but can sometimes cause some trouble. Ghastly has the same issue with Meowth, cannot do anything, has low defense and is defeated. Magnemite is weak to fire, so it's not a surprise that I switch into Vulpix, but this particular fight was quite disgusting. Supersonic, Thunder Wave and Vulpix hits itself real bad. If that one Sonic Boom didn't miss, Vulpix wouldn't make it, but that last Fire Blast hits to KO. But it's over for Vulpix against Croconaw, any move would have done it. Teddiursa in and the scary face spam begins, even while it was already faster from the get-go. That is crazy, but after a while I did switch out into Meowth and Fake Out did some damage. The cat was even faster thanks to Rock Tomb earlier, still not enough. Teddiursa back in to use one headbutt and the water type is done. Last is too bad, but it's actually very similar. Even the supersonic miss, rival is defeated, and that is not a surprise actually. I wonder if he gets more dangerous, or maybe he loses even more thanks to my upgrades for my team later on. By running around, Meowth learns Screech. By running around, Meowth learns Screech at level 17, and I do love Screech. It's an amazing move. Morty is a very interesting battle. A lot of teams are either not able to win for a long time, while other teams are just beating him up easily. This team I have is the latter one, thanks to not one but two normal types. Ghastly is too slow and Meowth beats it in one bite. Haunter is more dangerous, but it flinches thanks to Bite, and while Hyper Potion looks great for Morty, it was actually great for me, removing one for basically free. This Gengar could pose a problem if the strategy is not carried out properly. It can only deal damage to a normal type with Sucker Punch. It's the only way. But Sucker Punch can only hit if my Pokemon uses a damaging move. So let's just not use one until Sucker Punch runs out of power points, which is just 5. It's great and easy to count. I used Screech in the meantime and slept through a lot of turns. When Sucker Punch ran out, Bite was the only move I hitting all the time to deal damage. Hypnosis dragged the battle out for a long time, but it's fine. It was a very safe win. Last is another Haunter, and Curse is the only move which can deal damage here, so just one bite for over half and the battle is over. Morty lost fair and square, which is important to get the ability to use Surf outside of battle, which I still need to get from the Critique Dance Hall. The Team Rocket battle was a joke, way too low of a level. Arriving at the Lake of Rage is a great feeling. The choice packs are just lying around and will be one of the strongest items like always. The red Gyarados is here and I don't even need to defeat it. After the battle, the red skill dropped, which I can use to trade them in for an EXP share with Mr. Pokemon. A very much needed item since leveling Ledyba is quite tedious without it. Now comes the nice rocket entrance part, and Lance, I saw what you did to this poor guy. He didn't deserve it. Inside Team Rocket's HQ, Vulpix reaches level 24 and learns Flamethrower, the second best or maybe the real best fire type attack. But that's not all. In the same battle, Ledyba reaches level 24 as well, receiving Baton Pass. This move is the reason to even use the Ledyba. The question is, am I able to fully use it or maybe not? After beating the fake Giovanni, also called Petrel, I can get the password needed to open the door and battle Ariana. Lance was here to help, but what was he able to do? Well, he carried the whole battle, but that's fine. Afterwards there are some electrodes to defeat, and this is it to rescue the Lake of Rage. Or Lake of Calm? What is it then? On the other side of Johto in Olivine City is the Light Tower, and at the top is Jasmine waiting for some secret potion which I need to grab from Cianwood City. It's a nice fetch quest, something different than the usual beat up and repeat. While in Cianwood City, I can challenge the gym leader Chuck, and this battle was actually quite hard to figure out, even if I just went through as I felt like it. Primeape against Teddiursa looks a bit weird, but the only fighting type move it has is Focus Punch, which is easy to play around, and I was able to headbutt KO it instead. Poliwrath is on another level entirely. Ledyba in, and while Hypnosis missed, I was able to set up a Reflect. I switched into Meowth and made a little mistake using Fake Out, which is nearly no damage and removes one turn from Reflect. I spam Screech afterwards, and even with Hypnosis it's totally fine. 2 Screeches are all I need to win this battle now. I have Vulpix in next, and while Hypnosis missed, Will-O-Wisp missed as well. I don't know why it won't just use Surf and let Will-O-Wisp connect for no reason, but I like it. Burn helped Vulpix survive on 1 HP, but that's the end for Vulpix now, and it goes down shortly after. Ledian in, Reflector setup, which is a bit much with Burn as well, but it's fine. I got the light screen after getting hit by Surf, that's amazing. At least Mach Punch did like 2 damage before it went down. Last Pokemon is Teddiursa and it does survive its Surf just barely. A crit would have been it, and Headbutt just went in for the KO. That level up even brought Slash, which is maybe better than Headbutt, but I'm not sure. I am sure that Chuck is defeated, and I have done everything I can on this little island. Is it even an island? His wife gives me the HM for Fly, which I cannot use yet. Back in Olivine City, I can give the secret potion to Jasmine, letting Ampharos get its strength back and activate the battle for the next badge. Jasmine looks easy on paper. Her team is quite bad against anything ground or fire or maybe even fighting. But the issue is I have exactly 1 Pokemon who can even win here, and I made a mistake for no reason where I nearly lost. But versus Magnemite, and since Vulpix has the choice specs equipped, it's not a real battle. Steelix is a big bad of the team. I switched out into Ledian, immediately losing to a double super effective Rock Throw. Vulpix back in using Will-O-Wisp. I had to switch because of choice specs. Rock Throw even missed. That is good news, because my Will-O-Wisp missed as well. Another try and both hit, and Rock Throw did a lot of damage. I switched into Meowth to waste some turns, but I used only 1 Growl. Very stupid. I had enough time to use 2, but I do switch into Vulpix now, getting damaged by Iron Tail. This means Rock Throw will KO now, while Flamethrower did not. Fortunately, Rock Throw missed a second time, and I can see a Hyper Potion, which is basically useless now. It gives me enough time to use 2 Flamethrower to KO. Last is another Magnemite, but 1 hit will defeat it as well. Jasmine is defeated, and that leaves only 2 more badges before I can challenge the Elite 4. Isn't it crazy that I remember to get a TM for Sludge Bomb, which can be a great move, but in this team nobody can learn it. Isn't it amazing? Meowth finally reaches level 28 and can evolve into Persian. It is so strong, it's crazy I don't use it more often, but let's see if the hype holds true. The 7th gym leader is Price. I think it's actually Jasmine, but I usually like to be Jasmine first. Doesn't matter right now. Price is very strong and the battle was actually very hard to do. Seal is not that great. Persian does have Fake Out to flinch, can use a Screech for setup, and even with lowered speed, it's still faster. Just takes some time since Seal is quite tanky, surviving a lot of hits, and even wastes a Hyper Potion. Not bad for me at all. Against Piloswine I switched into Ledian and hoped for a miss or negate, but didn't happen, going down. Vulpix in to use a nice Fire Blast, which activates the Citrus Berry, and while Mud Bomb is super effective, it's not enough to KO, and another Fire Blast takes Piloswine down. Dugong is the last Pokemon, and Ice Shard KOs Vulpix before it was able to move. I used Persian next and had Fake Out for a free turn, then used Screech while Aurora Beam ripped a big hole in the HP, but Bite is not enough and Aurora Beam brings Persian into KO range. I switch into Teddiursa, which was a mistake since Ice Shard will clean Persian up before it can do anything, but Teddiursa tanks an Aurora Beam and hits back with Slash, clawing its way to victory. Price is defeated, and this was quite close, at least closer than I like it to be, but now comes a little break in the Gym Leader Challenge. Before challenging the big bad Team Rocket, I get the TM return from the Goldenrod department store and hope to not forget to use it sometime soon. At level 30, Teddiursa has finally reached the level to evolve into its final form, Ursaring. I want to check out how strong this Pokemon now is and look forward to it. I got sick while editing, so my voice is even worse than usual. Sorry, but it is what it is. Petrel is back at being a fake again. This time it's not Giovanni, but the director of the radio station. Vulpix was able to easily beat him up, thanks to choice specs and Koffing's quite low special defense. With the key to the underground basement in hand, I can find more Team Rocket Grunt guys to defeat and also the rival. I'm not a big fan of his ambush tactics, but that's what he's known for. Golbat can be very annoying with Confuse Ray, but I love to see it being used and has no effect at all. Rock Tomb still hits and Slash doesn't care either. Feraligatr is too strong for Ursaring and I switch into Persian, but Thrash did a lot of damage. First Fake Out, then Screech to just barely hang on, and a little bit of bite damage as well is still not good enough to beat the water type. Ursaring back in, but Feraligatr just defeated itself with confusion. When Magnemite enters, I switch into Ledyba, which I'm not sure why I did that. Thunder Wave was bad to see, but Supersonic isn't that much better. I tried to land a Silver Wind with boost to baton pass it over, but Ledyba failed miserably in that quest, basically the worst performance I have ever seen. Ursaring in and one Rock Smash is all it takes to remove the Steel type. Sneasel is an interesting Pokemon, but Rock Smash is 4 times super effective, beating it easily. Last is Haunter, but Meanlock is just not a good move here, and Feint Attack removes it. The rival didn't stand a chance, and that's a good thing. Only one more battle against him left, and I hope it will be glorious. Persian reaches level 32 and learns Power Gem. I'm a bit split about how good it is, but how bad can a rock type attack be? After talking with the real director, he gives me the key to unlock the final battle of the radio station arc. First beating Proton, who never stands a chance ever, he is just terrible and way worse than his teammates. But Ariana can handle a lot more. Her team is actually not that bad. A lot of stuff went wrong, and even Murkrow was able to dodge a lot of hits, but this battle shows how much my team has evolved from a little group of random Pokemon to a strong team which is able to overcome any challenge. This is always the part which reminds me why I like to do those Pokemon challenge runs. But anyway, Ariana never stood a chance and I can move on to the final battle. Archer can be a very hard battle, but it can also be very easy if the right tools are available. I wish Archer had a way stronger team and more variety of Pokemon as well. Houndour, for example, is quite weak when Persian can Fake Out and Power Gem it down. Houndoom is on another level, but Screech can lower the defense harshly. I switch into Vulpix to get the fire boost and press on Confuse Ray, but Houndoom was able to beat Vulpix just like that. I have Ursaring come in and slashed it an enormous amount of damage, leaving Houndoom with 1 HP, just to barely survive another Fire Fang, and hit again with Slash, but this time for the KO. Last is coughing, and while Slash is not good enough, Sludge defeated my bear Pokemon, and I went for Persian to use Fake Out and then a nice bite to KO. Archer is out of Pokemon, and that means the story around Team Rocket is officially over. It is done, and I will never see them ever again. For some reason I already missed them. I have to conquer the ice path to get to the last gym, and on the way is a wild delibird. A version exclusive Pokemon. I think it's just a terrible, bad Pokemon. Or maybe it can help me get this challenge done. South of Blackthorn City are wild Skarmory. This is one of the best Pokemon one can have. It's so tanky, nearly nothing can beat it down, and I hope to make full use out of it. The last gym leader of Johto is Claire, and truth be told, this battle is very hard, so I leveled up a lot, like a whole lot. Way too much actually. Gyarados is one of the strongest Pokemon in the game, but Skarmory blocks it out very easily. I wanted to set up a lot of spikes and then go down to Dragon Rage. Persian in to use Fake Out to let it flinch, then Screech and some bite to deal a lot of damage. But when Hyper Potion was ready, I switched it to Ledyba for a setup. First agility, then Silver Wind to hope to get boost, but of course it won't happen. The battle would have been too easy otherwise. But I do use Baton Pass to switch into Ursaring. 1 slash is enough to KO now. Dragonair comes in, gets damaged by spikes, and then goes down to 1 slash very cleanly. Now Kingdra is a lot of fun. Slash critical hits and nearly KOs just for Smokescreen to get used. Citrus Berry is gone as well, and I went for Feint Attack believing it was a safe KO, but of course not, just to get punished by Hyper Beam, which is actually fine. It skips the potion turn as well. Last is another Dragonair, and similar to the first one, it went down in one go. Claire's defeated, and that means I got all 8 badges. Well, actually not. I had to go into the Dragon's Den to receive my badge, but the battle went so smoothly, I can totally see Claire's point of view. Before the last road can be done, I have to challenge the Kimono Girls first, but they are quite weak and my team can overcome them quite easily. This battle was so intense, the legendary Pokemon is awakened. Deep inside the Whirl Island is the home of Lugia, the Pokemon from the cover. But this is the first and last time the cover legendary is not a version exclusive, so I just flee and move on to the real final challenge of the run, the Elite Four. Or not. Of course the rival wants to battle one last time. He wants to show that he's now a real powerhouse that needs to be acknowledged, but let's see. I'm the judge, I guess. Sneasel comes first and deals quite a lot of damage with feint attack against vulpix, but flamethrower and choice specs is on another level. Against Feraligatr I have to switch out into Skarmory, which does sound weird at first, but I can tank most of the hits easily and layer up some spikes. The issue is just, Skarmory deals a very low amount of damage before going down. I use Ledyba next and try to get some boosts off. I never get them, they will never happen, and I actually don't know why I even try. It is very weak to ice, so it goes down after 2 hits. I bring in Persian next to use Fake Out and then a nice bite to KO. Persian is just amazing. Magneton is the reason to switch out into Delibird just to let it go down. Sorry, but does Delibird has fans? Let me know. Vulpix in and of course a nice flamethrower defeats Magneton. Haunter's funny and easy to predict, that's why Ursaring negates the Shadow Ball, but of course Confuse Ray lets it hit itself, but when Curse came, it hits itself again. Okay, I switch into Persian instead. Now comes Meanlock, but Bite hits and knocks Haunter out. Kadabras are usually a big problem, but Persian is faster and defeats it in one go. Last is Golbat and I have Power Gem, being super effective, but the damage is extremely low. Very sad to see actually. But 3 hits and Golbat goes down too. That was the final battle against the rival. Unfortunately for him, it is the end of the road, but for me, it is just a small bump to the next challenge. The final battle of the run will be brutal, and maybe this Team 11, Sunny Day, might help. It is available in the radio station after beating Team Rocket for good. With it I can use TM22's Solar Beam a lot better. Great move if it doesn't need 2 turns of course. This Mr. Allen doesn't feel the need to call me, so I have to get to the Pokeathlon myself and grind the points for the Firestone. Only available on Tuesdays, but it is totally worth it. Getting Vulpix evolved into Ninetales, making it a lot stronger and very good for the upcoming Elite Four. My mom also helped out a bit. She bought me the choice scarf. Boosting speed is very important. There's one thing I totally forgot to do, and that is farming those shards at Alph Ruins. I can trade them into berries at Violet City, but more importantly, sometimes, very rarely actually, I can find a dome fossil while breaking some rocks. Dome fossils are version exclusive to soulsilver. The last thing I want to do is grabbing the dark glasses inside the dark cave. I have 2 good dark type attacks on my team, so why not use this one to boost some damage. After getting all the stuff, it is finally time to challenge the Elite Four, the last hurdle to fight against the champion for the title. But the first Elite Four member is Will, and his team looks like it is at a slight disadvantage versus Xatu against my Persian, and I thought it's good enough to go for Fake Out and then Bite, but it wasn't good enough and Confuse Ray makes me want to switch out into Ursaring, while Will cheats and uses an item in battle. Very bad. And that's not all. Xatu uses me first to critical hit with feint attack, but Ursaring just hits back critical as well, beating Xatu. Next is Jinx, and the use of Lovely Kiss made me quite sad, so I switch into Persian, while Psychic did a huge amount of damage. Thankfully, 1 bite is all it takes to KO it. Now against Executor it's a lot different. I bring in Skarmory and see Reflect being used, so this battle can take a while. Even though Fly does great damage, it is still 2 turns for each move. After several turns, just right before Skarmory could deliver the finishing blow, Hypnosis hits. Okay, I switch into Ninetales now, and while Psyche did a crazy amount, 1 flamethrower is all it takes to get the job done. Of course, Slowbro can tank a hit or 2 and has Water Pulse to knock Ninetales out. I have Ledyba in here, and my idea was to use Silver Wind until a boost happens, then use Baton Pass to bring the boost over to someone who can actually use it. But of course, a boost never happened, but the damage was perfect to skip the full restore in the end. Last is another Xatu, and Ledyba goes down immediately to let Persian handle it. Fake Out and Bite hits and defeats it. I'm a bit confused, since those moves didn't defeat the first Xatu, which was at a lower level. But I take it and move on. Koga is one of those opponents who can be sometimes hard, sometimes quite easy, but always very annoying. Why use Minimize and Double Team? I hate those moves. If it were up to me, they would have been removed from the game ages ago. First area does, but this heartGold exclusive goes down to one of Ninetales' flamethrower easily. Next is Fortress, but it is double weak to fire, so it is defeated immediately. Now comes one of those issues, Muk. I switch into Persian and try to connect with Screech and switch into Skarmory next in case of Toxic or Gunk Shot. Then going into Ursaring since there aren't any damaging moves for Muk available. And now begins the feint attack spam and hope it is enough. Damage is nice, but a full restore is used. And here comes the divine intervention, a feint attack critical hit to defeat Muk before I need to reset the battle. Thank Arceus. Crowbat is Koga's new ace and Poison Fang removes Ursaring outright. Ninetales in and I got so lucky that Flamethrower burned. Slowly burning down the HP, physical attack is reduced and there's no full restore, because Muk already burned one. Last is Venomoth, but it is weak to fire as well, going down. Koga is out of Pokemon and I really don't like battling against him anymore, unless I have a very strong counter against him. Very surprisingly, Bruno was very hard to beat. I'm not even joking. Considering how terrible he is in Fire Red and Leaf Green, this is quite a glow up. First is Hitmontop and I use Ninetales for Flamethrower against counter, which never works, and another one to let it go down to 1 HP while Dig is used. Easy switch into Skarmory to negate it and then back into Ninetales while a full restore is burned. Same thing again, Flamethrower against counter, but this time a second one defeats a Beyblade. Onyx is here and I actually went for another Flamethrower while Sandstorm is used. I have to switch into Skarmory now since Sand increases the special defense of rock type Pokemon. This battle looks bad, but Skarmory has such a high defense that it can beat the Rock Snake up easily, just take some turns. Hitmonlee comes in and I switch into Ninetales seeing Swagger, so I switch again and this time into Ledyba. Realizing it won't survive anything, I go back into Ninetales and finally Blaze Kick was used, boosting Ninetales fire damage and it showed. Flamethrower did amazing, even burned. But another Swagger and I switch into Delibird, but for some reason stayed in just to let it go down against Blaze Kick and the burn took Hitmonlee down as well. I went for Ninetales while Bruno chose Hitmonchan next. So let's punch each other until one goes down. And it seems like Hitmonchan was the first to go down thanks to not having a good fighting type attack. Here comes Bruno's ace Machamp while I switch into Ledyba. And Silverwind deals no damage, maybe 1 HP, while Rockslide defeats not one but a whole horde of Ledybans in one go. Ursaring in, but what can it even do? A single cross chop removes it immediately. Skarmory has to handle it, surviving one hit easily to set up Metal Sound, just to go down afterwards. Persian can deal some damage with return, but it wasn't good enough. Maybe TM wasted? My last Pokemon is Ninetales and thanks to no guard, Fire Blast will always hit, and thanks to Metal Sound with Choice Specs, Machamp will not make it through, going down. Bruno is finally defeated and this battle was way too close. Way too close. The last Elite Four member is Karen and this battle was way worse. It took an insane amount of tries. I literally sat here for hours, but I took several breaks in between. Umbreon against Skarmory. I hate double team, but hit with Metal Sound before switching out into Ninetales. Umbreon will spam double team while Ninetales just has to hit twice to win. It takes so long. I hate double team, it's actually the worst move to battle against in the entire game. That's also the reason I won't use it at all. But fortunately, it's just a matter of time and Umbreon goes down. Murkrow is sent out next and Flamethrower nearly took it out, while Whirlwind pushes Skarmory onto the battlefield. I wasn't sure what to do and went for Steel Wing in the full restore turn, but critted anyway, just for Karen to switch out into Houndoom. Every move seems bad, so I went for Metal Sound, but Flamethrower defeated Skarmory. Ursaring in and while Flamethrower hits into the yellow, Rock Smash hits but no defense drop, very sad, but Ursaring goes down anyway. Maybe Persian can handle it, and is fast enough with return for big damage, which also means that Nasty Plot won't matter anymore. Another return defeats the Fire Dog. Now against Gengar I switch into Ledyba. The Ghost type cannot beat Ledyba in a short amount of time, since Focus Blast is double resisted and Lick deals no damage. I tried to get a cheap win with Silverwind boost, but of course there wasn't a single boost in the 5 uses. That was nearly heartbreaking. So unlucky. All I can do is set up Light Screen and then baton pass it over to Persian while Lick is negated. Bite did not KO, but Focus Blast missed, as it usually does, and another Bite for the KO. Murkrow comes back in, but was already nearly defeated anyway, so it went down. Last is Wild Plume, and while return does less than half. Stun Spore was used and I can switch into Ninetales, seeing some Moonlight to restore HP. Flamethrower hits, but does not KO. That is really bad. And stun spawn now as well. While full restore is used, I thought about the next try, but flamethrower hits and defeats the Vileplume now. So, first flamethrower was just unlucky, but Karen is defeated. And that is all what was necessary. Only the champion is left to defeat. Lance is the champion, and I never stood a chance. It was absolutely horrible to battle against him. I think there is one possible strategy to win, but in order to do so, I have to make a lot of changes to my team and bring in someone who wasn't able to shine so far. First, going up the department store again to buy Team Thunder. Why? Not sure. I want to have it on me to test some strategies. Then north of Goldenrod City is a small body of water. Surfing here are wild Psyduck and sometimes Golducks. Those give a little boost in special attack, exactly what I need. Persian also reaches level 44, which gains the ability Nasty Plot. Not sure if I'm able to use it against Lance, but it is very good moving forward. Now with everything set up, the final battle awaits. The strategy I had left is pretty simple, using Choice Scarf and Blizzard. Yeah, I know it's nothing special, but if it works, it works. The issue is, I have to hit 4 Blizzards now in 4 tries, or I just most likely lose. First is Gyarados against Ninetales, and I need Will-O-Wisp to hit, reducing the physical damage by a lot, maybe even lowering it by half. Then switch into Ledyba to have agility set up to baton pass it over to Persian. It's already so late, one full restore is already used. But Power Gem with choice specs get a critical hit, which should help a lot. Another hit and Gyarados is defeated. First Dragonite comes in and I switch into Ledyba to let it go down. Now comes the star of the show, Delibird. Choice Scarf lets it outspeed and Blizzard hits for the KO. Aerodactyl looks like the end of the road, but Choice Scarf lets it outspeed and Blizzard takes it out in one go. Pressure takes 2 power points by the way. Strongest of all Pokemon, Charizard is next, and I switch into Ninetales. Getting the fire boost won't matter, but this is the last Pokemon I actually have to defeat without Delibird. Skarmory could maybe take a hit, but of course not. What was I thinking? Persian, however, does still have Power Gem. Being double, super effective in the Fire Dragon is down. The second Dragonite is here to ruin the run, but I just hit with some damage before Persian runs out of HP to let Delibird back in and use a Blizzard to hit and KO in one go. Last is the third Dragonite, and as before, Blizzard hits and defeats it with the last power point available. Lance is finally defeated, beating the champion and making Team Soul Silver version exclusives the new champion of Johto. But of course, the game is not over yet. The challenge continues on over to Kanto. A Hall No Gym Leader challenge awaits, and for that I hop on the SS Aqua, surfing over to Vermilion City, the city with the first gym leader to defeat, the easiest battle in the whole game. Lieutenant Surge always has some issues. Most of them have something to do with ground type Pokemon, but this time I do not have any. I thought Ledyba using agility and then baton pass it over to Ursaring is good enough. Didn't use it before, but the TM for Earthquake was available in Victory Road. Also, Lumberry was very useful to remove paralysis once. Lieutenant Surge is bad and will lose as long as I try runs which include Kanto in one form or another. One gym leader who is way stronger is Erika. Grass types can be problematic if no answer can be presented. Fortunately, Ninetales is here to solve this issue. Actually, it was possible to lose here, and that completely depends on Jumpluff. Well, not directly lose, but I would need to switch around. In my mind, it is very similar to a loss. The only issue was Bellossom. It was able to survive a flamethrower even on choice specs, but it used Solar Beam to not let it happen again, while Solar Beam did no damage. Erika's defeated, and it wasn't a big deal at all. The next ones could be a bit more dangerous. Janine is basically like Koga, and that makes this battle so annoying to do. Seeing double team is always a reason to just stop with the battle and do something else, like not playing the game level or something else. It's just that bad to play against. The initial idea was to use Persian, use Nasty Plot, and then grind down the team with Power Gem. But after some Pokemon, it's not enough for Persian, and I have to use Ninetales next. It is very convenient that half of Janine's team is weak to fire as well. So the battle itself wasn't that hard to do, but I'm always scared to see Double Team and Confuse Ray to stop me from playing the game. Sabrina was actually very funny. I made a lot of mistakes in this battle and it nearly costed me dearly. Thankfully, Kanto gym leader are quite bad, with like 1 or maybe 2 exceptions. First is Espeon, and Persian does really good damage with Bite, while Carmine actually does nothing at all and Espeon goes down. Mr. Mime is quite similar in that regard, it's just Light Screen even though Bite is physical and won't be reduced by Light Screen at all. Now Alakazam is always an issue, no matter which game is played. Reflect reduces Bite's damage and it is way too low now, so I switch into Ledian, but Psychic is too much damage even though Ledian has amazing special defenses. After getting downed, I bring in Skarmory, who is not that great in special defense, but resists all the moves Alakazam can use. I went in for a lot of Fly, because it wastes turns for Reflect, and after Alakazam enters the full restore range, Steel Wing is the next best move, but Skarmory will lose in the end, which is fine. Since Persian can come back in for a Fake Out, but Alakazam can still use Reflect thanks to Inner Focus. Big mistake. And Psychic nearly defeated Persian in one hit, while Bite did good damage. But even after full restore, Bite is not good enough and I switch into Delibird, while Energy Ball was used for some reason and Psychic removed it too. Persian back in and I went for Fake Out again. This sloppy guy learned nothing. What a loser. Ursaring back in, and while Psychic did a huge chunk of damage, Feint Attack was able to connect and defeat Alakazam in the end. Sabrina is out of Pokemon, and this battle was brutal, but more for my misplay and less about her team. Technically, all the damage was done by just one Pokemon, Alakazam. To continue reconquering Kanto, the Kanto power plant has to be reactivated. So, I talk with the manager, find the rocket guy in the Cerulean gym, battle him on the Nugget Bridge, and get the generator parts in the gym. Bring them over to the power plant manager and get the radio extension in Lavender Town, which I used to wake up Snorlax and grab the leftovers, most likely the best held item in the game, and Delibird had to pay a big price, getting hit by Giga Impact. After working through Diglett Tunnel and arriving in Pewter City, I can revive the Dome fossil I received earlier, getting Kabuto, the water and rock type Pokemon. At level 40 it evolves into Kabutops, and I will actually use it in this run, unlike Omanite and heartGold. I will leave Delibird behind, it was destroyed by Snorlax anyway. Poor bird, but it helped me to even get to this part in the game. While at Pewter City, well, not really, I leveled up somewhere else. But here's the gym leader waiting to give a badge away, this time to me. It took a while since my damage is quite low and I'm very scared of the final battle. But first is Graveler against my Kabutops. It does have a nice Choice Scarf to outspeed and hit with Surf for an easy KO. Next is Rhyhorn, and it has a similar problem, being double weak and having no special defense is rough. Now comes Brock's Kabutops and I switch into Skarmory. I wanted to see some metal sounds before going down, and the number of flinches let me stay on 2 metal sounds in the end. Still a nice job when Skarmory's HP went to 0. I bring Kabutops again and 1 Giga Drain removes the opposing Kabutops from the battle. Now comes the beloved Onix, truly a powerhouse of a Pokemon, and Sandstorm was used to reduce my damage by a lot. So this will take a while and Giga Drain has not a lot of power points, but a critical hit was actually helping out a lot. That way Onix skipped a turn again and let me finish it off with 2 more Giga Drains. Last is Omastar, and with only 4 power points left, Protect spam could be a huge issue, but second Protect missed and it just gave up, going down 2. Brock is defeated, and I think this was a nice demonstration what Kabutops can do. Or was it Choice Scarf? Maybe it was Choice Scarf. Of course, one of the remaining gym leaders is Blaine, and there are only very few teams who really struggle into him. Let's see if my team is one of those. First is Magcargo against Ursaring, but Choice Scarf and Earthquake are a nice combination to KO. Next is Magma, and Earthquake is not enough, there's like 1 HP remaining. And Overheat nearly destroyed my teddy bear, but it is now over for Magma. Even when Blaine hands out full restores like candies, there's no way out for it anymore. Just 2 Earthquakes to defeat it. Last is Rapidash, and Quick Attack removes Ursaring, sad to see. I bring in Kabutops, and while Bounce is used I cannot hit, but it deals so little damage. 1 Surf with Choice Specs defeats the last Pokemon with a critical hit. Blaine is defeated and there's not much left to do in the Soul Silver Pokemon Challenge. I actually forgot to beat Misty. Not sure if I ever did, but sometimes I fly through the game and don't check what I have to do to beat it. This battle took a long while to finish. Even though it's the second Kanto gym leader, she's quite tough, or can be depending on the team. First Golduck and Ursaring deals very good damage, and since Disable is available, a little switch of moves is enough to defeat the Golden Duck, which isn't golden at all. Second is Lapras, and Ice Beam deals way too much, especially compared to Earthquake. Another Ice Beam defeats my Pokemon, making room for Skarmory to come in. Sing hits, which is very annoying. The hit rate is so low it shouldn't hit at all. After several turns, Skarmory wakes up to hit with Metal Sound, which is important when Kabutops comes in. Giga Drain will be the best move in this battle and also defeats Lapras. When Quagsire entered, I thought this is an easy one-hit, but isn't. Amnesia even helps to be able to tank more hits, but all Quagsire can do is some Rain Dance stuff and then go dumb, since Giga Drain was able to get the perfect range to KO in the end. Last is Starmie, and Giga Drain doesn't do a lot. Kabutops is faster thanks to the rain, but Confuse Ray is usually the point where I switch, but didn't. There's no reason to, but 2 water pulls later, Kabutops loses anyway. Persian in, Fake Out is one of my favorite moves, and then Bite for big damage. Confuse Ray just ignored to hit another Bite, and Starmie is down. Misty turned out to be a lot stronger than I anticipated, but I'm not complaining. I even forgot to beat her earlier. Blue is the last gym leader of this run, and that battle will be crazy. His team is very strong. I went to Route 9, the path to the Rock Tunnel, and get TM Flash Cannon. I think I can use it, but let's see. Blue is a hard opponent. His team is very diverse in typings, even though he is supposed to be the ground type gym leader of Kanto. A lot of things can go wrong here, and I hope it won't. It's that simple. First is Executor, but Ninetales is faster, has choice specs, and a nice flamethrower KO. Against Rhydon, I have to switch out, and I chose Ledyba because I will never get the chance to set up. Bringing Kabutops in next just to use one surf to remove Rhydon from the battle. The champ has no guard, which lets moves always hit, and Kabutops can do one Metal Sound before going down. Ninetales is back in to use a choice specs boosted Fire Blast to defeat the Metal Sound and weaken my champ from full HP. When Gyarados was used, I switched into Ursaring, and while Waterfall did a lot of damage, I wanted to try out Strength, and it was really weak. Switching into Persian next to nearly defeat Gyarados in one go with Shockwave. While Full Restore restores the HP back to full, Nasty Plot will make sure a lot of damage is happening now. And that means Shockwave will destroy the double weak Water Snake in one go. I would usually switch against Arcanine, but the Nasty Plot boosted Power Gem deals quite a lot of damage. But it survived and even hit back with Flare Blitz, defeating Persian. Ninetales in to hit with Dark Pulse, but I just assume it's a KO on the dot very close. Last is Pidgeot, and here I switch into Skarmory. Of course I misclick on Fly immediately, wanted to use some Metal Sounds and then push the HP down with Flash Cannon, but after several misses, Pidgeot decided to use Whirlwind and grab Ninetales. That's great! Metal Sound helped to defeat Pidgeot with a nice flamethrower. This battle was way harder than expected, and it turned out to be quite close. But when Pidgeot arrived, the battle was already over. But the run is not over yet. I get the permission to climb the Mount Silver, the last location I wasn't able to visit yet, which is here to contain the hardest battle in the entire game. And while preparing, I realized I forgot one very essential move. Sword Stance from the game corner. Ledyba can learn it and give the boost to the next one with Baton Pass. Well, that happened. Not a lot to do, but face the final battle in this Pokemon Soul Silver Challenge run. Red, the hardest battle, taking place on this long forgotten mountain. No further words are needed. Let the battle begin. First comes Pikachu, and Persian's Fake Out deals great damage. A return right after finishes the electric mouse off. Now Blastoise is a tank, and I switch into Ledyba and switch into Ninetales. This is a bit confusing, but my goal is to lower Blastoise's HP with Hail. Always take your environment to your advantage. When the HP reaches the yellow range, I switch into Persian, survive a blizzard, and then use Fake Out first and Shockwave next to KO. Sometimes dirty tricks are needed to win. Here comes the bigger tank, Snorlax. Skarmory is technically weak to Blizzard, but Snorlax has no special attack. When Sandstorm starts, Blizzard loses their accuracy, very important for this battle in total. But Skarmory freezes. What is this? This is terrible, really bad. I hate it. Pressing on Fly and hoping to unfreeze just in time is all I can hope for, and like a miracle, it is what happens. Fly hits and Shadow Ball cannot KO anymore thanks to leftovers. I switch into Ursaring, negating Shadow Ball to punch back with Hammer Arm and knock that Snorlax out.
Lapras is unfortunately the one opponent where I have to make a sacrifice and let Ledyba go to have a safe switch into Kabutops. Ancient Power does good damage, one buff and this battle is over. But a little miracle happens instead. Kabutops survived on 5 HP, uses another Ancient Power to finish Lapras off. That wasn't planned at all and I'm very happy about this outcome. Venusaur is a bit hard to break through. I let Kabutops go here and bring in Persian just to use one fake out, dealing some little damage just to use Skarmory next. Technically, Venusaur cannot beat Skarmory without a lot of sleep luck, but it takes a very long time. I have Metal Sound to lower special defense, but sleep removes the turns I could capitalize on it. When Venusaur had enough, it uses Frenzy Plant, losing an extra turn, which is quite nice since Ninetales could even not knock it out in one go and would still win, but one flamethrower was enough. Last is Charizard and I switch into Persian, but to be honest I have no idea why I did that. Absolutely not. Ursaring back in, the first Pokemon of this adventure and now the last one to tackle on Charizard. Rock Tomb deals an insane amount of damage, lower speed, and when Flare Blitz came in to destroy Ursaring, it just survives to spite Red and the recoil finishes Charizard off in return. The last obstacle in this run, Red, is defeated. And that means Team Choice Packs wins, beating Pokemon Soul Silver with only version exclusive Pokemon. Thank you for watching, please like, comment and subscribe, I see you in the next one.